Thanks a lot, Shrikant, as well as Mitesh, for joining in and, in fact, giving us all of those details. Well, there is some good news, actually, that's coming in because India's trade deficit, it's come in at 6-month lows of around $24 billion. That's thanks to recovery in exports. The overall trade deficit, counting goods and services, has fallen to around $11 billion, which is much lower than a year ago as well as a month ago. Lata joins in to run us through all of that analysis. Lata.
Yes, actually a good trade deficit number after a long gap. And what is good is that there is a bit of a recovery in exports. The November exports has come in at almost 32 billion, 31.99 to be precise. Now, in October, this was 29.78. So that's a decent over $2 billion recovery. And it was $30 billion year ago. So both in comparison to both year ago and month ago, we've done somewhat better in exports. But this export figure that I'm showing you, 31.99, is the lowest since last November. That means for the last 12 months, we've been doing better at exports. So this is not a runaway recovery, but somewhat better than the October number. Imports at 55.8 billion is also a little lower than the October figure of 56.69. So mild improvement over there, probably because of slightly lower crude prices. So the overall trade deficit has therefore fallen to 23.81. It was as high as almost 27 billion, as you can see, in October. So that, again, is a somewhat decent recovery. The goods deficit is, like I told you, the lowest since May, and that's a relief. If you add goods and services, then again, the exports are, at 52 billion, much lower than a year ago, but a month ago. So if you take exports, goods and services, it doesn't look very impressive. In fact, what is impressive is the fall in the November services imports. If you compare goods and services together, then there is a steep fall. We have come down to 65 billion from 73 billion in October. Now, I don't know what are the components of services imports, but clearly the magic lies over there. So to put everything together, what has gone good for us in November? Exports have done somewhat better, goods exports. The ministry has not given much details, which is a little surprising. They normally give you a long list export-wise. All they tell us is, okay, there is a marginal recovery in exports, but there is a huge fall in services imports. If we continue at this track, 11 billion a month, counting services and goods, then we are kind of out of the woods. But the point is, will we maintain? Look at the number of central banks who have raised interest rates. Look at the extent of recession that we will see in destination countries. So will we be able to maintain this track remains an open question.
All right, Lata, thank you very much. That's a comprehensive picture. And we'll keep tracking this one. It's extremely important from a macro standpoint. Now, Chandan Taparia is derivative and technical analyst at Motilal Oswal Financial